In this video, I'm bringing you to you guys an amazing client interview with Rasmus. Funny enough, Rasmus was probably my second client in 2021 when I started my appointment setting offer, and a year and a half later, he joined the program and has seen some amazing success. So I thought, like, hey, why don't we get you in an interview and get you to share your experience, what you've learned from building a multiple six figures, almost $500,000 a year agency. And yeah, so please enjoy the interview. Again, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. If you're not making $500,000 a year profit net take home, you owe it to yourself to show up for this webinar. I'll leave a link below. And if you're watching this 6 years from now, find the link to whatever training I'm about to share this Saturday and use it to free yourself up. Bye-bye. All right. So today I have Rasmus, currently in Dubai. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, my name is Rasmus. Currently in Dubai, been in Dubai for three and a half months now, almost. From Denmark, and run an advertising agency called Minix. So we basically work with e-commerce brands and help them with both TikTok ads, Google ads, and Facebook ads, and a little bit of UGC on a performance basis. So basically the way we make our money is through revenue share deals, which is a little bit different to most agencies. So we work like, we have a few clients on like a retainer plus performance, but our biggest clients are purely just on a performance basis.
Nice. When did you make that switch to performance?
So we dabbled around with it a little bit last year, but we really just started going hard on it. I want to say this summer or something like that.
Yeah. And how has
yeah, nowadays it's just purely performance.
Nice. And has it allowed you to, I mean, I guess it has, how has it performed when it comes to like when you're on sales calls and you walk them through what you guys can do for them, and then you pitch your pricing model? How is compare it now to before?
Yeah, so it definitely switched. It changes the dynamic of the whole call, because we do a 2-call close, which basically means that I have like a 15-30 minute, I call it an audit call. Basically, I just run through everything with the client, like where are they at with their business, their margins, try and like uncover small issues like stock, how much can you scale to previous performance, et cetera. And then we do an actual audit for them. So, sorry. So we get access to like the Shopify, Facebook ads, Google ads account, whatever like platforms they've been on before. Yeah. Because I tell them on the call, look, you want to work with us because we get billed, we make money directly off of your success. So we do the audit to make sure it's worth our time, not to make sure it's worth your time. Because it's worth your time anyway. Because if we don't perform, you don't pay us, right? Yeah. So in that sense, it kind of changes the dynamic to we have the leverage because they want to sign with us because they don't want to work with an agency. Because every freaking e-commerce business had this issue before, right? Work with an e-commerce agency and paid, $3-5K a month, and then just got absolutely murdered. Yeah. So yeah, in that sense, it kind of changed the dynamic to they want to work with us because we have a really good offer, but we need to make sure it's worth our time. Yeah.
You just made me think about something. I think that as a business owner, you need to find someone who cares about your success. And it actually just made me think that, because right now I'm starting to spend a little bit of money on ads, and I just realized that my compensation should switch to how much money I make from ads instead of how much money I can spend on ads. Meaning the agency's compensation, because right now I'm working with an agency, right? I'm like, instead of compensating them on a retainer, I should be like, hey, I'll spend X amount of money per month. We'll get X amount of leads. We'll get X amount of calls. Whatever we convert from that ad spend, then you get like 10% of it, right? Because I feel like
Yeah.
when you're incentivizing people to just get paid for nothing, just because they're spending your money, how are they supposed to get you success? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so the way ads work, right? It's a high leverage situation because your time input, it's not like doing cold calls, because when you do cold calls and you work on commission, it's a direct function of time input and then you get an output. And you can work a little bit on conversion rate, obviously, but if you want to be a high earning cold caller, you need to call 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? With ads, if you have a well performing ad, you can spend 0 hours on it, but make the client 100K.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's a very high leverage situation. So then you're motivated to actually make an aggressive amount of money for the client and actually figure out how can we systemize this to get the highest amount of leverage per employee, a media buyer, whatever it is, to make the most amount of money possible. So your goals are aligned, which I think a lot of e-commerce, but agencies in general don't they don't understand it, because maybe it's a function of insecurity, or they just don't know what clients they actually work with which is one of the biggest learnings we've had, is like, how do we actually make a good audit?
Yeah.
Because it comes down to the audit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, when I was starting out, if you were to talk to me about pricing and how to structure people and how to incentives, it's like I wouldn't have known what I know now. And I feel like people have to stop blaming themselves for like losing clients and things like that. I feel like it's part of the process. Like you lose, you learn, and then you keep losing, and then you keep learning, you keep failing, you keep learning, right? But I feel like if you go into a course and then someone tells you like, hey, you should charge 2 to 3 grand, they're technically telling you to price your services at a specific price that has no actual meaning, right? Most people don't understand that like every price is technically made up, right? So just like you would charge someone 2 to 3 grand, you can go to another person for the same service, be like, hey, I'll charge you 5 to 10 grand, right? Depending on how big the client is and things like that, right? But yeah, there's definitely a big issue within this online space where people are just given the answer instead of given the tools on how to think and use their own critical judgment.
Yeah, and it also comes down to I was just thinking about this, like when you basically an agency is a sales rep, like it's an extension of your sales system within a business, whether it's you have a real estate business or e-commerce, it doesn't really matter. But if you look at the highest paid real estate agents, cold callers, sales guys in the world, they all want to work on commission, right? Because they know they can actually do a good job, and they know they can make a disproportionate amount of money compared to just saying, look, yeah, I'll sell your house for, I don't even know how that will work out, but a cold caller saying, yeah, I just want like 5K in salary, right? And fix salary, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You need something where you can put in the same amount of effort, but get an asymmetric return, right? Something that isn't equal to your input. Yeah. So how did you make up your mind to move to Dubai? Like, when did that thought process start?
Yeah, so it started back in March, April this year. So I was in Spain with my brother for 6 months. And we scaled a lot in March specifically. I think we like doubled. And so I think everyone in the make money online space has had the idea of like moving to Dubai, right? At some point in their life, like, oh, no taxes and just drive Lambos. But I was like, it makes sense now at that point, at least, because I'm very much focused just on increasing my earning capacity.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll just, take these 6 months in Spain, but I already kind of had the thought in my brain that, hey, I actually don't enjoy being in Denmark, where I'm from. I really enjoy being in Spain because of the weather, just like overall, it's just much better environment as well. People are more motivated to actually achieve things. And then I had one of my friends that told me in April, hey, I'm moving to Dubai in September. That was like end of August. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking about it as well. And then we just, chatted about it continuously. And my dad came down to visit me and my brother in Spain. And I told him like, hey, I've been thinking about moving to Dubai when I get home, basically. And I asked him specifically, like, do you have any logical reasons for me not to move? Not emotional, logical. And he said, well, the only thing I have is I'm going to miss you a lot. And I said, yeah, but that's not a logical issue. So like there's no reasons for me not to move, right? And then I kind of made, that was towards like, I don't know, May, June, something like that. And then I kind of made up my mind. Okay, like I want to move to Dubai. I actually thought at first I was going to move to Dubai just to save up a lot of money. In that mindset, like, okay, let me just reduce my cost of living, penny pinch as much as I can just to save every dollar, right? And then, invest into real estate and all that stocks. But then I saw this one video from Alex Hormozi, and he talked about like just reinvest every single dollar you have into increasing your earning capacity. Because that's basically what he did to, I think he said like until he made like 17 mil a year or something. Like, all right, I'm sitting here making, I don't know, at that point, 15K a month or something profit. So I have a long way to go. Like he made 17 mil, now he's making, I don't know, 50 mil profit a year, something like that. He's not going to bed hungry. I was like, all right, so I have a long ass way to go. So that might be a better strategy because I already saw it, right? Already had seen it before. It back in March was like, okay, we doubled in 1 month. Then we were at a standstill and kind of just cruised, but still like that was a much higher baseline than the baseline before that. Like, okay, and just if we can double 2 months out the year, I mean, that's still what's that going to be, like a 4x? Yeah. 4x. Yeah. If you go from 100 to 200 and then 200 to 4, then 4x over a year, right? Yeah. Which is almost what's actually happened this year. So.
Yeah. Nice. And do you think has the environment from Dubai helped you be more focused? Like what do you think it has? I mean, so I think people, go there for 0% taxes. But one thing I've realized is that, at least from hearing people who are way wealthier, is that saving that extra 25%, 35% is not necessarily going to get you rich. What's going to get you rich is like what you just said, is just reinvesting in your own fucking scale and becoming a bigger producer, saving 50% off of like, $500,000 or whatever, right? Like it's not going to change your life, right? So, but do you think your environment has helped you do you feel a bit more productive? Because I guess there is also more sun there. So I don't know, like, do you feel more motivated?
So the taxes part was kind of the last parts of that equation. The main things for me I'm looking for is just a lot of sun and good environment in terms of, okay, I want to be around people who make a lot of money. And because I found out in Spain, at least, I'm very affected by my environment and by the weather. So for me, when I'm back in Denmark during the winter periods, like I'm unmotivated as fuck. Like I just won't do anything. I'm not like, I don't wake up and feel like, okay, now it's time to go, right? I had that way more in Spain, and I noticed that I was like, okay, me having the sun and all the heat, and going to a gym where I don't know if you know it, Real Club Pedal in Marbella. Like there's Ferraris, Rolls Royce as well, like in the parking lot. So it makes you think, right? And it makes you more motivated because you see, like, you get that materialistic motivation, which I don't think is a bad thing. And I get that a lot as well here. Yeah. Because it's everywhere, right? Like, I came back from the doctor a little bit earlier, and like there's an orange Lambo in my driveway, right? You see it everywhere. So it makes you very motivated to actually wake up and do some shit. Yeah. So like I want to get that as well. I don't want to get it like not even think about it.
Let's go. Easy. I think a lot of people, because before lately I've changed my mind around what I about materialistic stuff, but I've realized before I was like, you know what, let me just grind, let me save up my money. I think up until I was making maybe, I think even when my company was doing like 60, 80K of profit a month, I think I was still paying myself 6 grand a month, right? But I ended up realizing that that's actually, and I was still driving like a, like a, okay, so when I was still making like 30K a month or 50K or 60K, I was still driving a $2,000 car, like a Mazda, right? And then
Yeah.
and then I got just tired. I was like, fuck, driving this car is actually risky. Imagine if I crash because I'm trying to fucking save money, right? And then I got another Mazda. It was nothing crazy, just $500 a month. And then you know what? I got to a point where I'm like, yo, you're inspired by cars. Why are you still driving a little bitch car? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because bro, I've realized this. If you're insecure about money, if you come from a place where you think that money is something that is scarce, your actions in business and the way that you behave with money will always be limited. It's like you'll always be trying to protect something, right? And it's only when I decided, like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna just get me a nice car. That's when I got the AMG. And then, I personally feel like I should be changing cars every 4 to 6 months, because it's like there's no amount of drive that it gives you. Like, it inspires you to a certain level. I know a lot of people are like, oh, please don't be driven by materialistic stuff. Please don't put your money in a car. It's a depreciating asset. I'm like, no, it fucking makes me fucking excited to fucking achieve my dreams.
Yeah.
What else am I working for? You know what I mean? Like, we all need to have something that inspires us to wake up on a fucking Monday morning and wake up whenever it do the sales calls, do the marketing stuff, go for make content, right? Every single thing, because you want to achieve something for yourself, something that makes you happy. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I just think, yeah, I think that's a very valid argument to increasing your cost of living the more money you make, to a certain extent. Because if you're someone who's used to spending 30K a month, right? You just think that's normal. Like, on a
yeah,
slow month, I'll spend 30K, right? If you ever go out of business, you'll be thinking in ways of which you could easily make that 30K a month back. But if you're someone who just spends 2K a month, you won't be thinking like that. You have to be some kind of, I think, like special human to be thinking in terms of, okay, how can I make 100K a month?
yeah,
What business can I make? Because you only have cost of living at 2K a month, so you
yeah,
don't really have any
yeah. You have
big
no,
desire to make an aggressive amount of money. So the higher you can increase your baseline, to a certain extent, obviously you should save some money and like not
yeah,
go bankrupt from one month to the other.
yeah,
But yeah, like the higher baseline cost of living you have, to a certain extent, will increase. It will change the way you look at money, right?
yeah. It definitely increases your creativity, because I know that, for me, whenever I'm trying to just save and not spend, that's when I'm the least creative. Like, I know that for moments where I think there will be months where I'll spend a bit more money on something, whether that be a trip to Spain, whether that be a trip to Italy with clients and the team, or let's say we're gonna go to Cape Town this coming month. It's like whenever I spend, it's like the next fucking day I make more money than I've ever made, because it's like I don't know why, but it just opens you up to being more hungry to, like, okay, what can I do to actually make my money back, right? But
Yeah.
if you're always rich and you have a lot of money sitting there, then there is no drive for you to become better, to figure out to be more, creative on making money. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like if you're out there and you have, you're killing it in business and you're just comfortable, like, that comfort is gonna kill you, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important to have a plan about where do you actually want to go. Um, and then realize that if you're not there yet, the amount of money you spend that you're still comfortable with or whatever,
Yeah,
that's an insignificant amount of money to what you're going to be making in the future. So it really doesn't matter.
yeah.
100%.
Like go if you can afford spending, 4K on business class, right? And it doesn't break your bank, then go spend that. Because if you have a plan that you're gonna in the next 12 months gonna be making 100K a month, that 4K is insignificant, but it's gonna give you that boost in motivation and actually show you what's possible. So it really doesn't matter in the end, as long as you obviously don't go broke, right? You're a complete idiot about it.
Yeah, some people are still dumb though. They'll spend money as if it's I was speaking with someone the other day, and they were just, they were just saying the fact that I see a lot of people online who are, they're making okay money, right? But they're living a lifestyle as if they're making millions of dollars every month, right? So like, even though we're saying like, hey, go enjoy your life a little bit, like we're not saying just be done with your money, you know what I mean? Because people will literally like, start making a little bit of money. Like when I say like, just like, hey, let's say an extra 10, 20K a month, and then they'll start, the only thing they'll be wearing is like, Louis Vuitton or Gucci. It's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck are you talking? What are you doing? Like, that's an employee you're spending a month, or maybe 5-3. Like, why aren't you investing in your company? Right?
Yeah, that's a little bit wild. That's a little bit wild, not gonna lie.
So, a lot of, funny enough, most people, maybe we can talk about the story of how we first met, right? So you were probably, I don't know yet. I don't know if, but I think you were probably like the second client when I started my appointment setting agency back in 2021, January.
Probably because it was messy as fuck.
It was messy, man. It was messy, but you gave me a chance and I did what I had to do. But
$800 a month. I remember.
You were like $800 a month. Oh, this is actually a good, funny. This is actually a good story. So Rasmus, we ended up getting on a call. Did I reach out to you on Facebook? I don't remember. Was it Facebook?
I think so. I don't remember. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I got you on a sales call. Ended up, pitching you this process on how we would be using Instagram to generate sales calls. And towards the end, you were like, okay, cool, whatever. And then you were like, okay, what's the price? And I was like, yeah, I think it was like $850, right? And then you're like, what? I'm like, what the fuck? $800? Like, and then you ended up telling me like, something like you were expecting more. And, the fact that it was that cheap, it actually made you second guess if it was actually worth it. Right?
Yeah.
Crazy how much price affects perception, right?
Yeah, 100%. Also just the commitment. Like if you don't pay good money for something, you're not going to be invested. We see this with clients as well. Like the ones that pays the least are the ones that are least motivated to actually do something and actually be proactive in a partnership. And those we most of the time always generate the worst results for. And like it always just comes back to, okay, how did we pitch them and what was the price? It probably wasn't high enough.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. But no, I remember, man, like those times, like when I started the appointment setting agency, funny enough, I mean, I for sure was charging less money, right? But it's not like I could have charged a lot more money either, because I was in a market and I was just starting out. So I didn't really have anything out there, didn't have any content, no case studies. So it's like, I was just getting, service market fit, right? But yeah, we ended up working together, and I ended up going, just signing a whole bunch of clients after that in the following months, right? But you ended up leaving, and then when did you sign up in the program again? 2.5 months ago? 2 months, 3 months?
2 months ago, I think, something like that.
Yeah. Justin messaged me. He's like, hey, I have someone who's interested in the program, and then you ended up signing up, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? And it just surprised me. I was like, oh shit, this is really cool. So like, what made you, because I did ask you this question, but I'd like for you to share it again, because I think it's something that is important for anyone who's out there, running a business, not necessarily an agency. But what made you sign up in the program again?
There's two things to it. First, there's obviously, as someone who buys a program, right? a customer buys into you, right? Because that's usually who they like, where they actually see the course, where they like get to know that it even exists. So like I worked with you back when you had nothing, right? Like didn't do anything. And now you're making an aggressive amount of more money than I am. So I'm like, okay, even though I don't really, and I'll say this publicly, I don't really like how you portray, it's gotten better, but you can come across a little bit arrogant online, right? But I was like, all right, let me just put that aside. Because you're actually a real nice person when you then talk to you. But I was like, okay, let me just put that aside. He obviously knows something I don't. Right? Because you make more money than I do. So obviously there's some sort of, and we basically came from the same place. Because I think when I was with you the first time, I had maybe 1 or 2 clients, something like that. So obviously you got further than I did in the same time span. And then the second thing is coming back to increasing earning capacity. I realized from that Alex Mosi video that the money I could have spent on real estate or stocks, I could make a better return investing in something else, courses, skills, knowledge. So to our business, there's really 2 sides, right? There's the appointment setting / sales. I'm pretty good at the sales. We have a high offer to close ratio, but the appointment setting is just something I think every business struggle with. And then there's the service delivery, right? So right now, I was like, okay, where can I allocate money in the appointment setting? I was like, okay, Serge is probably going to be the best bet from the get-go. It's also the most expensive one of the things I have on my list, but might as well just get it done with, right? And then also, investing into media buying and all that to actually increase our client results, because we do revenue share, so then we can make more money, right, on the back end. But yeah, so that was sort of the 2 things that kind of made it go full circle, that we ended up working together again, basically.
No, 100%. So funny. And I totally agree with, the first thing, a lot of people may see me and think that, I'm trying to be arrogant with, well, first things first, let me try to say this. It's when you do achieve what you set out to achieve, man, there's no way you're not going to be arrogant. Like, am I the most humble person online? No. Can I be less humble? Yes, I think there's levels to being arrogant, right? But I also think that, like, when you start fucking winning, man, it takes a lot of work, man. Like, imagine spending 2 years of your life working hard, aiming to make money, and then you achieve the revenue goals you set out to achieve. Like, you're not supposed to behave like every other basic ass human anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not doing this shit to just get to the end goal and be like, you know what? Like, no, it's not necessarily saying that I think I'm better than others, but I also want to feel good about what I'm achieving. You know what I mean? But a lot of people see it as,
but clearly you are, because like we started the same, like almost the same time, right? I just launched the agency, and you're doing, I don't know how much, but last month we did 35K, right? And you do that in a couple of days, something like that. I don't know. So clearly you were better than me, either in figuring out how to close client, how to schedule appointments, or the the opportunity vehicle you put yourself in. Something clearly you figured out that I didn't.
And most people let their ego, because if you see someone who's maybe arrogant, like, and you don't want to do business with them, well, it's like, cool, that's totally fine. But it's like, sometimes it's just good to just put your ego aside and figure out, because for me, there is one thing that I've gotten is, even if I don't like someone, I'll still learn from them. If I see someone doing something better than I am, like, I'll just spend a little time, even if it's just checking out their YouTube content, just figuring out, okay, cool, oh, this is what they're doing. It's like, as an example, like, I see someone, Cole Gordon, who's doing, they're doing a few millions. There's also other people online. It's like, I won't necessarily be like following their life and be like, oh, this guy inspires me, but I'll go in and look at, okay, how are they structuring their appointment setting? For the structure for compensation for their appointment setters, the compensation structure for their sales team, and things like that, right? and then I'll learn. Like, I don't need to like you to learn from you, because I'm like, bro, this is a business. Like, emotions is
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? It's, who cares, right?
Yeah, your P&L doesn't state any emotions, right?
Yeah, it doesn't care.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't care. I think, yeah, like I think you should do this more as well. I think you should post more screenshots of like your actual like calendar in terms of book meetings, because that's
yeah,
basically what people buy into, right? Is okay, Serge can book a ton of meetings, so, and that's basically what he's here to teach me.
yeah.
Now you teach a lot more, obviously, as well, but it's mainly the appointment setting, right?
Yeah, mainly it's like it's the main appointments, because that's really the biggest bottleneck for almost every person's success. Because once someone has figured out how to solve appointment setting, I think success is inevitable. I think
Yeah.
appointment setting is probably the only, I mean, appointment setting is really marketing, right? It's just marketing in a non-linear way, right? No, in a linear way, meaning Facebook ad is like, you know, you're technically doing appointment setting, but you're just doing it to thousands and millions of people through an ad, right? But if you can become a great marketer, a great appointment setter, I don't see a world in which you don't fucking make a lot of fucking money. Like, it just doesn't make it, whether that be for your business or for other businesses, right?
I mean, you can easily make 7 figures just from a couple of VAs, right? And have that
Yeah, yeah,
linear growth. And a lot of people don't need much else. I mean, I'm not looking for my agency to do much more than 100K a month.
yeah.
Then I'm going to go into another opportunity vehicle. The agency, just like, I'm not looking to create this massive agency. Just want a lean operation, 5 people employed, and then switch into e-commerce, and then actually, you know, go for that like home run, if you want to say that.
Yeah. So how has it been since, you know, because I know you've seen some great success. How has it been since you've joined the program? If you want to share some numbers.
It's been great. So yeah, I bought in September, right? I think end of September, something like that. Then October kind of maintained. So we've been kind of maintaining around 18 to 22K in revenue since March. And I think, yeah, so October, we kind of got it rolling a little bit. We did 20K. The VAs, you know, were getting into place. I was also just, you know, getting into the whole workflow. And then November, you know, we started email and everything, and I started posting content. And then we did 35K in November. So that's a 75% increase compared to October. This month, I'm not sure. I'm assuming we'll do a little bit less, just looking at the cycle from last year. We also saw a little bit of a decline. I'm also getting a lot of like replies. Hey, we're looking at, you know, we're planning out marketing for next year. Talk to us in January. Same thing last year. It's just how it is, right? So we'll probably do 30, 35K this month. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been great so far.
I mean, adding, you know, almost multiple 6 figures in 30, 40 days in ARR is pretty good. What has been the acquisition channel that has been, or maybe you can tell people what your acquisition system looks like, so that people understand like what we do, like how does it look like?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different channels I can get into. Right now, it's purely just Instagram. Actually, I think we ran out of leads on email, but Instagram and email, I've definitely seen majority and all the clients that have been signed has been from Instagram. And then I got into content after we had the onboarding call. And I actually think that conversation in and of itself, that one tip with just get used to posting content and get into that, because we had a long conversation about that. Like that made me say, okay, this course is already worth it. Because I know in like 3 years time, if I basically just told myself, look, if I can just commit to making like 300 videos, it's unreasonable for me not to be good in front of a camera. Not talking about an audience or anything, because that will also come. If I can just commit to making 300 videos, that's, if I post 2 videos a week, that's 3 years, something like that. Yeah, 3 years. It's going to be pretty unreasonable for me not to have some level of success.
Yeah.
And it's okay to suck. Like, it's okay to suck at the beginning, and it's okay to have it take a long time, because the only way you guarantee failure is if you do it for a month and then stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like inverse thinking. How would you make sure you just don't get successful with organic content? So I basically just took that hat on, and from that one call, I was like, okay, even if the Instagram and email and Facebook, I'm gonna get into like Facebook and growth experts next year. Even if all that doesn't work out, like the content side of it, and just you telling me, okay, this is what you need to post, I was like, oh, this is gonna be worth it. I've already had like 4 prospects like reply positive back to an outreach message, but saying like, hey, really appreciate your content. That was super nice to see. I actually also had a like super random Instagram DM out of nowhere already from a guy who was like, I'm coming to Dubai on Friday because he had like some B2B meeting with a massive hotel over here. He's an e-commerce store. And he was like, if you want to meet up during the weekend, let me know. I'm like,
Wow.
Sounds good. Where did you hear about me? I was like, I found you on YouTube. I had 27 subscribers.
Oh my God. Like, I don't, for everyone who's watching this video, it's like, if you're not putting out content, guys, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like I genuinely think, so 3-4 months ago, right? I did something pretty special. I looked at our numbers. Maybe we're doing 180K a month, right? And I was like, I looked at our clients. So maybe we signed up, I don't know, maybe 20 clients, right? And I was like, out of all these clients that we're setting up every month, who didn't know about me prior to signing up, and who had actually seen my content prior? And I ended up realizing that 95% of people had watched content before they bought, and 5% had bought without ever having had consumed content, right? So that means that if I was to stop content and delete all of the content I've created in the last few years, I would be making 5% of what I'm making today. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? 5%.
It's wild. It's
like it's like no wonder people are broke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I would also be broke, because it's like, okay, so let's say if we do 300K, 400K, that means that 100K, 100% is, or 1% is what? 4 grand. Yeah, I would be making 20K. Yeah, I would be making 20K a month. I would be making 20K a month.
Based on D180?
No, based on today's current revenue.
Yeah.
I would be making 20K a month. Like, that's
like, wild.
If you want a reason to making content, it's like you're gonna make an extra 380.
And do you know what the dumbest shit is? Is the video he saw was a video about my experience living in Dubai for 3 months. It gets nothing to do with business. But you told me, look, Rasmus, post one video about like technical, like Facebook ads, whatever, like marketing stuff. Post one video just like random shit. Like, it can be Facebook ads or whatever, or it can be personal. And so I just had that video shot as a loom, and then I reshot it as like an actual YouTube video because I hired an editor. Nice. And now that video has like, I think 200 views or whatever. It's not a lot, but it's a lot compared to I had like 18 subscribers when I post that. I have 27 now, big boy, right? But just from that, like 200 views, I have some random fucking dude in my DMs saying
wanting to meet up. Yeah.
Want to meet up.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't understand, but like when you're posting out content, the reason why content is so valuable is because when people see you on a screen, or see you like putting yourself out there, you automatically gain authority, because you're doing something that not many people will ever do. right? So we could spend here all day long talk about how valuable content is, right? But still 99.9% of Earth's population will not put out content because they're just insecure, they don't want to be judged, and it's just a human nature to protect ourselves from risk, right? So we're risk averse, so we'll not want to put ourselves in front of people so we can be judged, right? But for the people who will put themselves in front of others and be willing to be judged, they will deserve all the praise from the 99.9% of society.
Yeah, and also to add to that, because I actually texted a couple of my friends, my brother and Hassam as well. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, should I make a new Instagram page or whatever, like to post the content? I was like super antsy about it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, I just came to the conclusion. I was like, fuck this. I mean, then people can say what they want, right? But what ended up happening is I've not heard a single person like troll me or anyone saying like anything negative or like make fun of it. Nothing.
Yeah.
I had one guy saying like, move your microphone from your mouth because you look weird, but that's it. So it's like there's really nothing to be afraid of. And Hassam actually said something to me. He said like, if anyone actually makes fun of you, would you even want them in your circle, right? No, you wouldn't.
No.
So what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. It's all made up, right? Like we all make up these stories that try to, because our mind is really smart. It's like when you don't want something or when you're afraid of something, your mind will figure out a million ideas and stories as to why something shouldn't be done, right? But most of the time I've realized that like the things that I don't want to do are the things that end up leading me to success. As an example, if I end up getting, you know, when you end up scaling your company and you start making, let's say 7 figures, your first desire is to withhold and, you know, keep all that cash into your own pockets, right? But in order for you to go to 10 million, you have to realize like, you know what, this actual $1 million that I'm making a year is the price to get to 10 million, meaning you have to get rid of $1 million a year to get to 10 million. And eventually you need to get rid of 10 million to get to 100 million, right? So, but a lot of people listen too fast, like they just think to their first, like they just, if they're afraid of something, they think that what their mind is telling them is the truth, right? But no, like whatever you're afraid of, that's the secret to, that's the price you have to pay to getting to that next level, right? So people are afraid to reinvest in themselves, hire employees, get rid of profit margins. It's like, yeah, that's it's like someone going and hunting and then being afraid to go hunt because they're afraid that an animal, you know, may, like a lion may be out there. Yeah, a lion will be out there, but guess what? If you're not willing to risk being ate by a lion, you're not going to eat nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta be willing to die to live. If you're not willing to go broke, then you'll never really tap into real financial freedom, because it's like financial freedom comes at a price, man. It costs a lot of money to be financially free.
It comes either at a cost or a long time horizon, and I think it's just whatever game you want to play. And obviously there's also, if you do play the time game, then there's a higher likelihood of you not achieving it. I think if you're that afraid of actually spending money, but I also think people need to, like the people that are super scared of investing into themselves, I think they need to like get on a diet and go to the gym more often. And what I'm trying to say is they need to show themselves that they're actually capable. Because if you don't think that you are a capable person and you can actually internalize that there are people out there making 1,000 times more than you do every single month as baseline, and they don't think it's a lot of money. You need to internalize that shit, and then you need to show yourself in your personal life as well that you're actually capable of doing uncomfortable stuff and still pulling through. You need to be scrappy, right? You need to figure out a way. Like if you're gonna go run 10 miles or whatever, and you had never done it before, like you need to figure out a way to actually do it, or go on a diet, or do a monk mode, meditate 190 days like I did, work out 11 times a week like I do. Like, show yourself that you're actually capable of going through suffering, because then I think you'll have an easier time also thinking, okay, I'm capable of winning in the game of business, if you can win in the game of life.
100%. Yeah, I think that's a great advice, because I think when you start working out or when you start doing hard things, like, it just gives you more confidence and more belief in yourself that you can do more, right? But most people are just, they lack the belief that they can do more, so like they never end up taking more risks, right? Because they've never done anything impressive, right? So I think the reason why successful people keep winning is because they can look back and be like, you know what, I dealt with this situation and I came out of it a winner, right? So this is probably going to be the same thing. So they take the risk, right? But for someone who's just getting started in business, they have no reference points. They're like, oh my God, like, my mom took care of me all my life. My dad took me to school. He drove me. He gave me money for lunch. So it's like, they're like, okay, but if I go and take this risk, what have I proven myself that I can accomplish? Oh, nothing, bro. You've just been a little baby at home and nobody, it'd be shit. There are even some old people who are the same thing as if they're kids, you know what I mean? It's like,
but I think it's just about accepting that reality. Don't judge yourself for it, because that's largely out of your control as well. But just seek uncomfortable stuff, and like, just be capable. Think for yourself. You wouldn't imagine. I don't even have a big social media or anything, right? But I've also been in copy-paste agency and been featured there a couple of times for like some client wins and stuff. I had people reach out to me like, oh, how do I set up? Like, I'm new in this space, bro. How do I set up like my domain or like my Gmail? Like, what should I use for email outreach? And it's like, if you can't figure that out for yourself, I'm sorry to tell you, but like, you lost.
Yeah.
If you can't even push through that resistance without just thinking for yourself,
then it's gonna
you're not gonna go anywhere.
It's
gonna be a long fucking journey.
It's gonna be long, man. Yeah, I mean, bro, trust me, like, you should see my DMs. It's like, but the thing is, people like to look for validation and approval, right? So they know the answer, and that's what for me pisses me off. Sometimes I don't answer to dumb questions, right? They know the answer, but they just want you to tell it back to them, so that they're like, oh, since Serge said it or Rasmus said it, okay, I feel more safe. But it's like, bro, you're not safe. Whether I tell you what to do or not, you've got to find safety within your own compound. From within. Like, it's not like, I don't go to Sam Ovens and be like, hey Sam, I'm looking to make $1 million bucks a month. Can you tell me how to get there?
Do you think I should double my outreach? That's probably a good place to start. Sam, my outreach got me from 0 to 500K a month. I want to go to 1 million. Do you think I should double my outreach? And you would never ask that.
Yeah, I would never, because it's like, why are you? Because so there's this thing that I genuinely think that we all have the answer to what we want. Like, I genuinely believe that every success level is a choice, meaning there's not one person who's making $10 million a year that can say that, hey, I don't know the roadmap to getting to 100. Or there's no one person saying they're making 10K a month that says that can say that they don't know how to get to 100K a month. Because I genuinely feel like once you become an entrepreneur and once you actually start winning, the answers are like, they're just there in your subconscious mind. But some people are afraid to just believe in themselves and trust themselves enough to believe that they know the answers, right? So for me, I think I've probably signed up in like so I think that in the last 2 years, I probably didn't go into many courses. I've gone into one mastermind because I just wanted to see what advertising is working. But I generally, in the last year and a half, as 2 years, I've stopped going through courses and programs. Not that I'm not seeking out information, but I generally feel like I already know what I need to do. Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of
Yeah,
people
and I guess
jump into these things. Yeah.
yeah, but it's funny because like you don't need to take a lot of steps in the journey before you can see the path
Yeah.
you have to take.
Mhm.
But you need to take that, like you just need to take one uncertain step, and then you kind of already know what you need to do.
Mhm.
When you're at zero, you kind of know. When you sign, let's just say you sign one client, right? Because if you haven't signed a single client, you probably don't know anything. But then you also shouldn't charge anything for your service, is my opinion. But that's besides the point. But if you just sign one client, you kind of know what it looks like to get to 10K. You probably can't imagine what it is to get to 100K because you can't fathom that amount of money.
Yeah.
You can kind of fathom 10K. Then you want to get to 10K, you kind of know, okay, now I have a couple of clients. Just need to do this 5 times at scale.
Yeah.
Then same for me. I know what I need to do to get to 100. It's just either you're one that doesn't take action, and I specifically don't take action right now because I just want to try and map out for me, like, okay, how can I make this as easy as possible on myself as well? So like, but I already kind of know, okay, if I just hire 3 more VAs, like went through the growth expert module, found a couple of those, started a Facebook group. Like within summer, I would probably be making, or within like end of next year. Like the timeline really does matter, but I would be making 100K a month.
Easy. I think if you, I mean, so for me, there's a little difference, right? So I know you said something around, like, hey, we started at the same spot, making more money, but I generally think, I mean, I sent an email. I'm not sure if you read my story yesterday, but I did talk about urgency, right? I generally think that the reason why I'm where I'm at has nothing to do with the fact that I'm smarter or that I know something that others don't. I just take action on things faster than most people. And when I do actually win, and when I do hit my milestone, right? I remember when 100K a month was the goal, right? But I swear to God, I changed to a bigger goal before I even hit it. Because I feel like the sooner you hit everything you've ever desired, the sooner your life becomes the most boring thing on the planet. Like the sooner you have hit your what you said was the pinnacle of what your life needed to be, just might as well die. Because it's like, cool, why is it worth living? You know what I mean? Because I think chasing pleasure, because I think the worst thing that happens for successful people is they end up succeeding and they get into this habit of just chasing pleasure. And for me, I hate that. I mean, I don't hate pleasure. I love it, but I just love to be on the chase. I just feel urgently. I just feel like, yo, I need to be making millions of dollars every week. Like, why do I have to think about the price of a car? Why do I have to still be living in this condo? Why do I have to book my Airbnbs for myself? I don't want to be doing any of that. I just want to be paying people to take care of all the bullshit of life. You know what I mean? But but I think you could do, to be honest, like, I mean, I'm not saying that you should scale rapidly, because I also think that there is also importance in being slow and methodical, right? It's not just about, oh, let's just get you a bunch of clients and you just make 100K for a month and then you lose everyone, right? Or the cost to actually scale sometimes is not worth it. Like sometimes of your new level is not that valuable.
So that's why, like, I made a very like specific plan, because I also have what I call phase 2 in mind, which is like pivot into e-commerce and then like scale and sell e-commerce businesses, right?
Nice.
So for me, it's like, I think I told you that, like, right now we just want to get to like 16 clients. That's it. Like that, then I just need, that small little flow of clients whenever someone drops off, but really nothing crazy. Hopefully I can just get that from inbound. But from there, it's just about adding more stuff to the back end so that we can increase the average client billing and basically build out an entire playbook and have our clients as doing the test runs for that playbook. So we can then take that and then say, okay, now we can implement everything for ourselves and then make a $10 million exit at some point or $100 million exit, right? So for me, I'm not like super worried about scaling super fast. I'm more worried about signing the right clients that we can deliver good results for, so we can test more for them and build out infrastructure, right? I think you also touched on that in, I don't know if it was an email, you probably also talked about it on YouTube, but like infrastructure what sets you apart, right? Owning infrastructure, not just being a one layer type of business. I think you use Google as an example, like they own
everything about what they need.
Yeah, like the internet cables, right? Like that's stuck into the ocean. It's pretty wild. But essentially that's going to be the goal, right? So I'm much more focused on signing the right clients that allows us to do what we want to do so we can be great. Because my goal is not, like, truth be told, like I'm also very conscious about it. Like I don't want to make 500K a month with the agency. That's not the goal.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work and it comes with a lot of headaches.
I know.
Because it's harder to get to 500K with 80% profit margin. It's not super difficult to get to 100K a month with 80% profit margin. But basically all that money is just going to be rolled into another opportunity vehicle that would then spew out much more cash than the agency.
100%. Yeah, that's pretty smart. Using your journey to building an agency as the thing that helps you become better about building mechanisms that guarantees success for brands. And then you, instead of just seeing it as, hey, this is how I get rich, instead of you're like, oh, I'm gonna use the money I'm being paid by clients to build a better team, to build a better infrastructure, and then take that infrastructure and take the capital that I have, buy assets or build products and scale them with the same infrastructure. Right, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, because by nature, if we bill a client 10K because we made them 100K, if they stay with us, it's because they made more money than the 10K we built them.
Yeah, they
made profit, right? So there's more money to be had.
100%. Yeah.
So it's just a better opportunity vehicle. So yeah, that's basically just the end.
Totally.
So
scalability. Yeah. No, cool, man. No, thank you so much. I think we're coming up to an hour. It's Monday, so we've got a lot of work. But yeah, man. No. Anything you wanted to maybe? So one thing that I like to ask people is like, if you were to go back to the you from last year, what is the one thing that you would tell yourself to make yourself get not necessarily to where you are faster today, but maybe have the realizations that you've had and the thought, because I think it all just, if you can think the way you think, if you can change the way you think, you know, everything in your life will change, right? So what is the one thing, that advice, or maybe three, that you would give yourself to change your life faster? Maybe move to Dubai earlier and break your foot sooner.
Focus. I think there's two. Focus on increasing earning. Be obsessed with increasing earning capacity, and be obsessed with being the best for your clients. Like, be obsessed with service delivery. Be obsessed with generating results, because that's one thing I've really internalized like the last month or two, just from like all the performance deals we're doing. Like, I'm starting to realize we're doing honorable shit for our clients, because like there's no other agency out there really that are willing to just walk the walk completely.
Yeah.
Like, say, look, if we bill you zero, it's because we fucking suck, because we didn't make your money. So really, and I also told you this about your own program, right? It would be a disservice not to sell the product. And I've really tried and internalize that and try and see, okay, how can we change the way we operate so that both me and I've also had to talk with my employees, like, how can we deliver such a good experience and go that many extra miles so that we feel like it would be a disservice not to sign new clients.
Yeah.
So, and I think the week after we had that talk, we signed a new client that one of my media buys, he made 29 video iterations before we had an ad we were happy with.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
I've 5 days with the client, just going through video iteration, iteration, to finally then come up with an ad. And like, he's not even a video editor. Like that's the level we want to go to. Like that's the level I want to go to, because then I feel confident in actually selling to a client and say, look, you won't find anyone that will go farther than we will go. So be obsessed with increasing your earning capacity and be obsessed with delivering the best results you can, the best experience.
Yeah. That's really good, man. Yeah. I think if people, if they realize that, like, you can actually win, man. Like there's so much more to life, right? And people stop living in this scarcity world of like, of course I think that people who never work hard will always live in scarcity, right? But if you spend more time caring about other people's problems and trying to solve them the best way and investing in yourself so you can be a better problem solver, it's like all your problems end up being taken care of because you're solving so many other people's problems. So it's like I've taken this outlook that on life that it's, if I really want my life to be good, I can't spend time worrying about my life. I need to spend time worrying about, hey, can Rasmus get to 100K a month? Or can this other client get to 100K a month? Or can this client get to 100K a week, right? Because if I spend a lot of time just worrying about others, then it's like all your other limits, constraints are like they evaporate, right? It's like your life just becomes a lot better because these people will want to reciprocate that same, attention.
Yeah, and you have so much more leeway as well if you do mess up at some point. Like, when have you ever been at a restaurant where, yeah, the food maybe was mediocre, not really anything crazy, but if the service was immaculate, that was like so fucking well done, like you wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
As long as the waiter actually cared for you. Yeah, maybe the steak fucking sucked, but if the waiter actually gave you the attention and actually cared about you, you wouldn't be mad at all.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably still come back just because of the experience.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't get the steak next time.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. That's totally true. I've seen a lot of clients who may not necessarily have had success in the first month, maybe even second month, but because of how much they notice that we actually are invested in their success, they'll still stick around and just keep at it, just work at it. And then 3-4 months, I actually had a client the other day, Saturday, woke up, he's like, hey man, I know that a few months ago, I was like a bit upset with the program. I was trying to blame, and I was just trying to blame it as if, that hey, this is not working out for me. But recently started seeing success, right? And he came back and was like, hey man, I know, like, I was saying this, but actually thank you for having created this, because it has everything. I realize now that it has everything that I needed to succeed. And he covered this point where, because I like to say that you owe it to yourself to be great. And it's like, maybe that was maybe the one thing that I needed to hear, right? Because it's like, at the end of the day, man, like there's no one solution for all. Like everyone, it's not just because you come in the program and you double your revenue in like 60 days, 30 days, does not mean that everybody is going to jump in and fucking kill it. No, that does not work like that, right? But everyone has the possibility to do so if they keep at it and don't care about how long it takes for them to win.
Yeah, and it's the same with clients and stuff. Like you could have sign 2 clients for a brand new offer, right? Have the same offer for both, like they both do the same freaking thing, but the outcome will be different, right? The outcome will be different on month 1. Maybe one just absolutely crushes it, and they do the exact same thing. Maybe like just something that just doesn't line up. But
Mm.
as long as you can have a long enough time horizon and find joy besides just sending screenshots of your Stripe account, but you can find joy in serving your clients, or, you know, whatever that business gives you, that can then, you know, you can take care of friends and family or whatever, like find joy in something else that allows you to play the long game. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, how old are you?
24.
24. Yeah, same age. Like, so we're 24, right? You make an aggressive amount of money now, but you still have 60 years left to work. I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like, because we see all this fast money, right? Like, oh, Serge is making 400K a month. Eman is making, you know, millions and he's 21, right? But still realize, like, you have 60 more years to work.
Crazy.
Maybe even more with how technology is going to be evolving. But like,
Yeah. Maybe we'll never die.
That's sure you. Yeah, maybe Elon solves everything.
Yeah. But no, like 100%. I see so many people, and to me, like, that's why I try to make our program really expensive, because I generally don't want someone to join if they're like, if all they need is like, hey, I need a quick hit, I need a quick win by next week. I'm like, it doesn't work. Success does not work on your timeline. Success has its own timeline, man.
Dude, you're 20, 21, 22, 19, like 27. You have so much fucking time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, who cares? Let's say it even takes 6 months before you get your first client. So what? What's the other route? Like, it's not like the path of no fucking clients is better.
You have 59 and a half years to make something of yourself. Like,
like, relax, you know what I mean? Like, because one thing I've realized is most people don't understand that success is a compounding thing. It's like, it took me, you know, I started going through courses in 2019, right? 2020, I made 12 grand. It's like, I could have given up in 2020 because I didn't sign a bunch of clients in that year. But no, did I give up? No, because I was like, the alternative, it's like, I don't want it. So it's like, and that's why for me, if anyone is watching this video and you ever want to work with us, it's like, just come in ready to die behind your goals. Like, do not come in and be like, hey, Serge, I'm not booking meetings. So what? We all had to go through that period. Like, no, everybody has had to go through a period where we don't know how to book calls, right? But it's, if you take it as the truth, like, oh, I can't book meetings, and you give up, then, you know, then your life is messed up. But it's like, if you make your commitment to yourself that, like, hey, I'll do whatever it takes, and I'll do it for however long it takes. Oh my God. Then
if you can just play a long game, and even like, you might not think it's cool to, you know, let's say you can't sign a client for a fucking year or something, right? But if you go through that struggle and you actually end up on the other side, making 10K, 20K, whatever, like, you just get like some sort of financial independence. That shit is so much more cooler than the guy that said, oh yeah, I scaled from 0 to 10K in 1 month.
Yeah, no.
If you could endure that pain for a whole year,
yeah,
I don't know if I could, but like,
but it makes your success much more, you know, much more worth it. It just makes your journey such an amazing journey to tell, right? We're never inspired by people who were born with wealth, right? We're all inspired by guys who had to go through a lot of shit to get there, right? Guys or girls, right? Because it's the hero's journey. We want someone who faced struggle and then figured out an insight, and then figure out a new process, maybe figure out the $500,000 program, and then started winning, right? We want to hear that story, because that's what makes life, you know what I mean? Every single movie is that. It's like, nobody wants to hear the fact that you fucking put out an offer and you started making millions. It's like, bro, what's the fun? Where are the days where you thought you couldn't make it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're missing like half the equation to that story, right? Like, what's the downfall? Like,
yeah,
when did your Stripe account get locked out, or like,
you know what I mean?
All your clients leave?
Imagine you go meet Rasmus in Dubai, and then we're all at dinner, and then all you have to say is, oh, you know, I just got my first client the first month. It's like, bro, okay, cool. But it's like, you lacked the commitment. You lacked the testing phase, you know? Yeah. But no, it's funny. But no, it's funny that we all want to win, but it's like, it's our failures and our struggle that make success much more worth more than the success itself. Because I swear to God, man, like I think that, you know, sometimes I just look back and be like, wow, you know, like I remember sending my resignation email, you know, and that, you know, just that maybe was a hard thing, right? It's like, you know, it was scary. I remember signing my first client. That felt really good because it had taken me like months and months before I could sign that, you know. That shit felt so good that I think that there is no amount of pleasure that could top that first client that I signed, right?
No, like
Okay.
when you've been hungry, food just tastes much better, right?
Oh man, tastes real fucking good. Yeah, but anyway, man, we could talk all day long, but thank you so much for jumping on, man. I really appreciate you. And yeah, man, keep killing it. And well, let's do it. Also, we forgot to say something important, but you got your brother to sign up in the program too.
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
That's good. At some point, I feel like we need to have all the family in the program. And also, we've been having a lot of Scandinavian people come in the program. It's crazy.
Last week was crazy. 4 or 5 people or something.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to visit. I have to visit Denmark or some other country. But yeah, I'd love to visit. Maybe summer how is summer, by the way, in Denmark?
Summer is great. Like that's like 2 or 3 months of the year. It's amazing. Otherwise, it's shit. But yeah, 2 or 3 months of the year, it's amazing. Like
yeah, I'd love to visit. I'll definitely visit for some time. Maybe next year. I don't know. Yeah, but no, cool, man. Appreciate you. Have an amazing day, and ciao. Bye bye. Hey, thank you for watching my video. One thing that I want to ask you is please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with the people in your circle, people who can find this content helpful. And before you actually leave, I have a 5 days to 50K a month program with the right offers, the right mindset, decision-making, training, everything you need when it comes to scaling an agency, high-ticket coaching or consulting business past 50K per month, from the client acquisition systems to how to actually scale and sustain scale. If you want to access it, click the link below. Yeah, find it helpful.